Welcome to the 2024 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this brief June 28th, 29th edition here. Weekend. We've made it, and the good news is that we're all made it in one piece. Thank God. Now, the continuing jobless claims continue to reach its highest point since 2021. This is a report that came out yesterday in the marketplace news. And what's interesting is that, we've been saying for a while now that it's not so much that the initial unemployment is spiking in many states across the United States, but it's the continuing claims, meaning people are searching for jobs longer. Even in the gig economy, the side hustle gigs are starting to slow down. It's picking up, but it's not picking up as fast as many people would like. And so continuing jobless claims continue to rise weekly here. And this is really, the good news is that, like I said, the initial jobless claims, they dropped about 6,000 from the week before. And that's why I spoke the good news. But here is the continuing claims from unemployed workers receiving benefits. They rose last week to the highest level since November 2021, almost past pre-pandemic levels. So many economists and senior economists are having a hard time pinpointing why is this the case. Jobless claims, quote, are telling us a similar story to what we're seeing in the unemployment rate or the hiring rate where the job market is slowing. That's just what I alluded to a minute ago to you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're facing a slowing job market with creeping high prices and higher levels of debt, both in individual debt and in corporate debt with states, municipalities, counties, and the federal government. So everybody's having high debt loads, but job markets are having to work 2 or 3 jobs, either side hustles on the main job or 2 or 3 side hustles to make a main job. In any case, this economy is starting to unravel, and this has been this thing that we've been saying for the last year or two, that you guys have seen that in your cities and states and townships and all of that. So the guy says, quote, if you have a job you love, this is a great economy. You have unprecedented job security. But if you don't have a job, and if you never had a job, such as a new college graduate or a new tradesman, finding one is proven to be tricky. And we talked about that the other day. This is going to be a problem because the longer that many people stay out on the job market, either they give up or they go overseas or they do some other kind of work. And this is not counting those who are not counted in the official numbers. Those who are not counting, in the official BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. This is just counting those who are still looking for a job, not those who have given up or moved on or working under the table or doing some other kind of thing that's not recorded in these official numbers. So in any event, the Fed Governor Bowman says that she's still open to raising rates if inflation doesn't improve. We have seen this. But remember that Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said 3.5 years ago that this inflation is transitory. It's no big deal. We're going to get it down to 2% or whatever the goal was. Now it's not improving. We have stagflation, and that we continue to see this not improving. And so this is not off the table, that we're going to see rates continuing to improve. If we don't see rates going down anytime soon, it's possible that some of these Federal Reserve Bank governors are going to consider raising rates heading into next year or sometime at some point next year, because to try to get a hold of this inflation that we're experiencing nationwide. I wouldn't be surprised. Supreme Court today in Market Watch. Remember, they did a lot of rulings to trying to get out before June 30th, July the 1st, the end of the term. As you know, the Supreme Court is heavily stacked conservative by conservative judges in the favor of something like 6-3. But they ruled on homelessness. It comes at the worst possible moment for fair housing advocates say. Housing is unaffordable for many people in the U.S. As you know, people always say about California having a bunch of homeless, but there's other states now like Florida, Texas, Illinois, Massachusetts. There has a lot of homeless people too that are not just in the downtown, but also in the burbs. And this is the thing here that's going to be very interesting. Okay, we know that housing is unaffordable. Housing is going to be the last bubbles to pop, I believe. Credit is going to be popping before that. Commercial real estate, the debt derivative bubbles, but housing is going to be one of the last bubbles to pop. And unfortunately, that's going to leave a lot of people, if they don't have family or friends, if they don't have a strong church network, where do you go? Because the hostels, the homeless shelters, they're going to be overcrowded and overran. What I propose they do, obviously, is turn some of these abandoned malls and shopping centers into apartments for homeless, and they just pay like a flat tax fee or something, whatever they can afford, like $50 or $100 a month, or per quarter, per every 3 months or whatever. Since they're going to be vacant anyway, because obviously we're moving to a digital world. Let me know what you think in the comments. How is that homelessness problem going to be solved? Because it's not just for people who are homeless, but people who are in rentals, or in houses. Mortgages have skyrocketed because of the high prices of property taxes and insurances in some states, and also rents have skyrocketed because there's no rent controls, as you know, in some states in the Northeast or in the Southeast or in the Midwest. I mean, out west and the far west. So that's going to be something that we have to look towards as well. The bottom line is that this is not going away, but they ruled that they did not violate the 8th Amendment by fining and imprisoning people for camping on public property or parking overnight in city parks. As you know, a lot of people park their RVs, or they have like a small RV or a small truck, and they park overnight on public property, and they sleep in their cars and go to work in the day in California or wherever they go to work to, and that's okay. So they ruled that it's not a violation of the 8th Amendment. And I think that's good because, everybody needs some place to lay their head at night, some place to go, that's safe, that they believe is safe and that's comfortable, and to meet them toward their goals, So I'm glad that they ruled this way. Unfortunately, this is going to become more and more common, ladies and gentlemen, because housing and rent prices have no controls, and the prices just gotten unaffordable. This has been going on for the last 15 years, not just during the time frame of this presidency or last presidency. This has been going on for 15 years where they haven't put any caps on this type of rental or mortgages or whatever type of fee you want to say for housing, and it's taken up majority of us is taking up at least 40 to 50% or 60% of our incomes daily or monthly. I mean weekly or monthly, bi-weekly or monthly checks, and this is just terrible. And so there has to be more checks and balances on this. We have to rein it in, but unfortunately we don't have that many advocates on our side. There used to be a Better Business Bureau or Consumer Financial Bureau, that would get on these people and in the 1% or 2%. Now we don't have that. We have no one to advocate for us. Just a few fair housing advocates and nonprofits, but they don't really advocate. They can't defeat the lobbyists on DC and all that stuff, the Iron Triangle. And so unfortunately this is going to continue, and so you have a perfect storm of joblessness, homelessness, and hopelessness, because spiritually people are feeling like, well, what is going to happen if I can't provide a useful for my family and my friends? What am I to do? So just something to think about. Be blessed, continue to get exercise, sunlight, fresh air, play with your kids, enjoy yourself. Always remember that this is temporary. Everything is temporary, it's transitory. This is not the eternal, and we're going to be okay. As long as we have community, faith in God, and faith in one another, we're going to be okay. So God bless. Thank you. Have a great weekend. End of June. This is the last week, and I'll talk to you soon after the end of the fiscal year, June 30th. Thank you.